Welcome everybody, I'm Katja Schleicher, and you already know that I started a series of intercultural female talk shows where I invite smart ladies that tell us about the status quo in, after and beyond the crisis in their industry. And of course, because it's one of the closest to my heart, it's the speaking industry. Probably together with the event industry, one of the industries that has been hit hardest. So to overcome that, I invited three wonderful women from France. Marianne, who is running a speaker bureau in the north of France and all over France. From the United Kingdom is Maria, who is Italian, but sitting in the English countryside now and has a very big speaker bureau in Great Britain. And Karin, who is my speaker booker from Munich, who is running one of the coolest and most exquisite speaker offices in Germany. All of them have international contacts, but I would love to hear from all of you. Ladies, how do we get that industry in your speaker booker perspective back on track? Maria, would you like to start?
Thank you. And thank you for having me here. So how do we get it back to start? I think we must make sure it doesn't stop, actually. And part of the problem is that speakers position themselves as speakers. So if there are no events, you don't need a speaker. However, we need solutions, we need experts, we need help. Businesses need help to keep going, to get out of this situation. So please stop talking about being a speaker.
Okay. And how is that in France, Marianne?
Well, in France, situation is a bit complicated because we had the confinement, and the confinement is given to people new habits. The possibility of meet each other is very reduced, and nowadays it's impossible to organize an event unless there is minus than 10 people. So it's very reduced. Hotels or showing place don't have the security to organize, and they are waiting to organize the shows, and so we must wait. The speaker bureau in France don't imagine a real start the economy until 2021. So the skyline is far away.
Until next year. Okay, Karin, you've been busy, I know that, over the couple of last weeks. So how are you kicking up with that?
Well, when I first heard that the virus is actually rising up and will stay, and I realized this is true, this is not a joke, was about end of February. And as I have experienced with you, Katja, a few events that have already been organized hybrid, meaning we mixed online and offline elements, I immediately started concentrating on that topic.
Yeah.
And the first 2 or 3 weeks, we were all like, ugh, frozen and scared. But then I really started calling all the clients that had booked events with us and said, listen, why don't we turn the offline into an online event?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did during the day. And during the night, I was on my phone with all these experts that know how to do it. So ever since, I learned a whole new vocabulary. I know everything about it. And I turned already 13 events from offline events into online events, selling speakers. And I think this is pretty much my answer to your question.
Yeah.
I believe that we can offer our clients new platforms while we cannot meet in person.
Yeah.
We meet online, but we have to create a very emotional atmosphere, and this is what we're doing.
To do that. Maria, you said that stop positioning yourself as a speaker, position yourself as an expert. That goes a little bit aligned in what Karin says. So the qualities you need to have are different. What are the major qualities you see that speakers that want to survive the next 10 years need to have?
Yes, I think, is that for me?
Maria.
Yeah, for me, yes. Okay, sorry about that. So, I mean, fantastic, Karin, what you've done, absolutely brilliant. I think it's not about how you solve the problem, how you deliver your expertise. It's just what is it that you are able to deliver that is relevant currently to the current situation and to anticipate what is needed in the future. And that's what's really important at the moment, is to understand what is going on. And the fact that Karin is talking to her clients and finding out what's going on, and I'm sure matching what they need, that is exactly what bureaus need to be doing, and it's exactly what speakers need to be doing. Mm-hmm. So if you position yourself just as a speaker, and especially people who say they are keynote speakers, who knows when we're going to need keynote speakers again? What we need is solutions to the problems we have now, as I said, and then things that the companies are worrying about. They're worrying about, how am I going to make money? How am I going to keep my people safe? How can I get my people working productively from home? And how do I deal with my the fallout, the mental fallout, the well-being, the issues, post-traumatic stress that we're all going to suffer? Yeah. There's so many topics that are relevant, and so you need to be relevant to that solution and become an expert, dive deep into the expertise that's going to help people.
Yeah. And Karin first, and then we go to Marianne.
I believe, absolutely. Of course, I agree, Maria. Now, what I experience right now is that companies need an emotional glue. They need to create an atmosphere online that shows their people, no matter if it's their employees or their clients or their partners or whatever. The first thing they need now is have this wolf pack feeling again. We stick together, we walk together, we cry together, we're open, we take off the varnish, we show who we are. There's CEOs in our sessions who sit at home with their kids on the lap, and their secretary sees she's in the same shit as I am. So I think at the moment, what is very important, if you create an online experience, you need to create a feeling of belonging. Mm-hmm. And for the moment, you should book people that they know. They go, I know Katja from last year, so good to see her again. Mm-hmm. It's not new experts that I haven't heard of. They won't listen. I think they will listen to people that belong to their wolf pack. And you can combine that with like people they know already. You don't need to look for very new people. Yes. It's more the people they know, and that creates a feeling of we do this together. You're not so open to foreigners or to strangers right now. So that's an important aspect when you create new formats.
Yeah. How is that reflected in France? That being part of the pack and creating that emotional atmosphere, Marianne?
Yes, it's totally true. In France, I had asking for my speakers to be together, to meet each other online, because they didn't know each other, and they wanted to organize a show online to know better and to get this feeling of be together. And yes, there is this feeling very strong that is needed, and we can do it because with online tools, it's very easy to do it.
What is the most important topic at the moment you experience? What is, when you talk to clients, especially to the clients, what is the topic they ask for?
The topic is what is going to happen before the COVID confinement, and how to get new clients, how to start the economy again, and resilience.
Yeah, resilience. Yeah, is
a major term. Yeah.
And what's the most important topic or the hottest topic that are searched for in Britain?
So I agree with Marianne with her topics. I also agree with what Karin was saying about knowing people and having that confidence. You're absolutely right. So topics are very similar, but it is about the people. It's about how do we keep our people productive? How do we lead them? How do we lead through crisis? How do we keep everybody motivated when we don't know if actually we're going to have to let them go at some point? Because we've got, I don't know what's going on in other countries, but we have a system where employees are supported at the moment for 80% of their salaries until the end of July. They've just extended it. It was end of June. But after that, employers are going to be asked to contribute from August. And so the employers don't know what that means and what percentage and what portion. So a lot of people are feeling very uncertain about their future. Will they still have a job? So how do you keep those people engaged? They're not currently allowed to do any work until the end of July. From August they can. How do you keep them engaged? How do you keep them on board? How do you keep them sane in a way? Because often you identify with your work.
Yeah.
So all of those things.
My next question goes out into let me call it the future of the event of the being together industry. It is not just speakers and experts who have to change and have to adapt, but it is the clients as well. So what, as a speaker bureau, what is the most important thing you would advise your existing and hopefully your new clients? Karin?
Well, I pretty much concentrate on my existing clients, as I have so many that I want to make them happy and help them to get out of the crisis. And I ask them to be very flexible in their planning. We start planning with them seriously from September on, bigger things, and we plan them hybrid. That means we offer them the whole thing, either pure online, hybrid, or pure offline. Which means if the government in the country that you're in allows you to have guests, then you can have them. But if the virus comes back, which we all don't know if it has a second wave in the fall, but who knows, then we can do it pure online and we have all the needs. So that is what I ask of everyone who wants to be in those hybrid events. Be very flexible and have contracts with all the people you play the game with, hotels, caterers, have contracts that are highly flexible.
Yeah. And how is that in Britain? How do you envision that for Great Britain? I mean, you have Brexit on your shoulders as well, right?
Do you know, we've all forgotten about Brexit, actually. It's not been a bad thing because everybody was miserable about Brexit. I said, now no one's worried about it. We've completely forgotten about it. So we'll come back to Brexit maybe at some point. So I think what we need clients to be now is to be creative and open to ideas, but also to involve the bureaus and the speakers much earlier on, so that the speaker and the bureau can help shape what the best scenario, best solution is going to be for them, for whatever it is that they need for their organization. There is so much expertise in the speakers, they're so experienced, and more often than not, they can really say, this is the best way to get this content across. And I think it's absolutely, definitely is going to be hybrid. I also think there's going to be an element of not only the speaker participating at whatever the event is, hybrid, online or live, but there's going to be more of a follow-on, I think, because I think now more than ever it's about taking action. It's not just about information, it's about implementation. And so the speakers, if they get it right, will be helping the clients to actually implement and take things forward. So it's not just that engagement. So if you involve us and them earlier on, I think the longer term relationship will be much greater, the results will be much greater.
So from a service provider to a solution provider together with the client. Yeah. And in France, how is that going to be after the country is reopened?
Yes. Yet we think about propositions of different packages.
Yeah.
Then, for instance, we think about seminars, which is not conference, but it's for a little group of people in places like hotel, good hotel, and we are working about proposition of 2 day, 1 day, and online proposition. So the client can choose and can adapt in case of the situation.
Yes,
and
yes.
I feel it's the same that in Germany for Karin, we need to be flexible. And the other thing is that the confinement has been a lack for the people who are not known, because until now the speakers who were the most asked were the more famous. But with the confinement is emerging new profiles which are very interesting. Sorry for my French, for my English.
But I see more from hearing what you say. I at the moment see more chances than risks. Let me put it like that. I mean, yes, depending on how the whole health thing is going. But what I hear you saying, hybrid, creativity, flexibility, putting yourself in a position that serves the solution of the client, in the sense of being a trainer, a speaker, a consultant, whatever you call that thing, whatever you call that service. So that is basically what is asked over the next, let's say 24 months from people who have been on stage over the couple of last years, Karin.
And then I can only stress that I would never, right now, I don't try and find new clients. I can only recommend to all the speakers to look through their address books and call their people and ask them how they can help. Now, I know quite a few, and I think Maria and Marianne, you maybe too, I know quite a few people who weren't so great on the big stage, but they're very good in giving smaller sessions. Now it's their big day. If they have clients that they used to do smaller groups with, now they can do it on Zoom and Skype, and they will make the money, because they should always go through their address books and call their people. And I think relationship and an honest proposal, how can I help you? Talk about money later. How can I help you? And use the relationships we have. And I don't mean use as in a bad thing. I mean it in a real heartful way. Call your people and ask them how you can help them. And if it's only to listen to them for half an hour, and then maybe a week later they will call you back. And this is what happens to me. You know, I just call them, how the heck are you doing this? And then they start talking. And then through this, you know, they come up with new stuff. So that's what I can only recommend. Use the relationships you have.
One of the things I'm doing is a lot of things, how you implement agile formats into communication, like the real thing, how you do it. So how is it working out in the end at the in the offices or virtually? And that seems something to me that people really need, because all of a sudden they need different virtual formats, whether you use different communication to get things done in a very ordinary working day.